This is Joy News Prime.
You're watching us live from our studios in Kokomlemle, Accra. You can also catch us on the ABN channel, channel 235. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Coming up this hour, gunmen shoot one soldier dead and injure 3 others at Bole in the northern region. Tema Municipal Chief Executive says nothing wrong with holding classes under tree despite the presence of a deplorable school infrastructure. Progressive People's Party and the West executives unhappy with what they term neglect by national executives.
And coming up in the business segment, the cedi records some marginal stability against the US dollar.
Also, Kolebu to suspend 3 surgical clinics from Monday, February 8 until further notice. We'll explore the impacts of the closure and which will have on patients in hospital. These plus sports, entertainment, international news and your views coming up in this 2-hour package. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Many thanks for your time. We begin with a group calling itself Concerned Executives of the Progressive People's Party, PPP, in the Upper West region, which is unhappy about what they term as neglect of the party's flag bearer and national executives. According to the group, Dr. Pakwesi Indom and his national executives for the past 3 years have constantly refused to take part in programs organized by Upper West regional executives to discuss ways of improving the electoral fortunes of the party. The group is therefore threatening to close all party offices if they fail to address their concerns.
To see a single national executive officer of the PPP in the Upper West region to say thank you to you to discuss a way forward 4 years after 2012 elections.
Instead of joining hands with them to improve the fortunes of the party in the next election, the group said they have rather been neglected by the party's flag bearer and its national executives.
Painfully, during our regional executive election in 2014, no single national officer came to Upper West region to witness the event and to encourage us. We have heard on many occasions of the executive touring regions of the country, but none ever visited Upper West region. In 2014, Papa Kwesi Indum himself went around the country, got to Tamale and returned to Accra. In 2015, PPP national executives took a nationwide tour, got to Bolga and went back to Accra. We have totally lost contact with the national executive officers of PPP, both old and new, who we expected to have paid us a visit, taking into consideration our performance in 2012 elections. But none bothered about our constituencies. Will you also believe that our regional chairman and secretary both lost their bodies? They were all buried on 30th of January 2016 without a single representative of the national executive. When other political parties send delegations to funerals of serial callers.
They threaten to close down all party offices and paint them with red paint if their concerns are not addressed before the close of the day.
We demand answers of the following questions from Dr. Papa Kwesi Indum and his national executive officers. 1. Is PPP a fan club or a party or a political party? 2. Is PPP in existence? 3. Are we part of PPP if it exists? 4. Will PPP contest 2016 election? 5. When will PPP organize National Congress to elect its presidential candidate if it will contest the 2016 election? 6. We read on Dr. Indum's Facebook wall on several occasions about intended coalition. What is it all about? If our concerns are not addressed by today, all offices in the region will be closed and crossed with red paint, and one central constituency will not support any candidate in this year's election.
Well, to get answers to these questions, we've been joined by the National Chairman of the Progressive People's Party, Ni Alote Brew-Hammond. Thanks for your time, sir. Good evening to you.
Good evening. Good evening to you
concerns...
and to your esteemed viewers and listeners.
Well, you heard the concerns of the executives. What is your initial reaction?
Oh, my initial reaction is surprise. I am very accessible to all of them. And I would have thought that if they had such concerns, they would have directed it to my attention first before going on air to hold this press conference. This is definitely an act of indiscipline, that the PPP does not entertain and does not encourage. I believe that the ultimatum they have, putting it on air without giving us an opportunity to respond before going to air, should be a shameful act on their part. I, on the other hand, also feel that the media itself ought not to have entertained such things without asking them the very questions I'm asking. That have you contacted the national chairman? Have you contacted other national executives to find answers to this before you hold the press conference? Have you given us an advance warning that short of giving you answers, you will go on air to hold a press conference? I think that the press, you ought to have done that due diligence before giving them this platform, which you have, I believe, erroneously done.
The next step for these executives is to shut down all the party offices. How do you react to this?
Well, if you don't give me a chance to respond, how do I respond so that you do not shut them down? Did I even know they were going to hold a press conference?
So do you intend meeting them now that you've heard their concerns?
Of course. I mean, everything calls for a dialogue. And the first thing is for me to know that you are displeased about something. But if I don't know of your displeasure, how do I address it? This is the first time I'm hearing about a displeasure of this group of people. If they were instigated by our opposing parties, it is very likely that that may be the reason why they have suddenly gone on air without even alerting us of their beef. I'm surprised, and my doors are open. My office is open. I'm willing to talk to them because I've been to WA many times after the 2012 election. So I'm surprised that he's saying that no national officer, has been to their region. When the regional chairman lost the matter, I communicated with him. I was out of the country.
How about the flag bearer himself? Has he been there since 2012?
He's been there many times. He's been there many times. So that's why I'm saying that they should have addressed this to me personally, or to any of the other national executive officers, or to Dr. Indum personally. And then, if they do not get a satisfactory answer, that is when they go on air to spew out their frustrations.
These people also want to. They also want to know when you're going to hold Congress. What date do you have in mind?
Well, if they speak to me, I will tell them what preparations we are putting in to do that. The Progressive People's Party is a disciplined party, and we do not believe that we should address our differences on air. The party is 4 years old when we came in 2012. We are planning a national convention. The Progressive People's Party does not hold congresses. We do hold a convention, and our convention is being planned to coincide with our 4th anniversary. Preparations are going on.
So have you fixed a date?
That they have come out on air to ask these questions.
Have you fixed the date for your convention?
Their regional chairman is on our national committee and knows of all the plans that are being put in place to hold a 4th anniversary convention. So
Mr.
they should have gone to the national chairman first for these answers.
Have you fixed the date for your convention, and are you able to share with us this date?
When the national committee decides on the date and the location and arrangements are firmly made, we will put out a press release
Well, many thanks to you.
That's what we do.
Thank you so much,
PPP. Weren't you informed when we held our national convention in Takoradi? We did.
Thank you so much, PPP's Bro Hammond there explaining some issues having to be concerned by the members in the WA about their Congress and convention. Let's move on to other stories. One soldier has been shot dead by gunmen at Bole in the northern region. 3 others who are injured are receiving medical care. The soldier was part of the Bole District Security Council team en route to a Galamsey site at Dola Power, a border town in Ivory Coast. The team consisted of the district chief executive, a police commander in the area, and a commander of the Ghana National Fire Service, also from Bole. A journalist from Radio Yagbon, Joseph Roy, spoke to Joy News earlier.
This morning, what happened is that the patrol team, some security soldiers, 3 soldiers, plus the DCE and the coordinating director for the DC for the area, Honorable James Jagger, and some security agencies. Police were not there, but immigration service, one of them was there, and then one fireman who was also part of the crew. They were moving to a nearby area called, it's a border town anyway. They call that place Dollar Power. That place is prone to this, Galamsey illegal mining and whatever. And so they were going there. The place is Ghana. It's a border town. It's like there's a part that is part of Ghana, and the other part is the other side, Burkina Faso. And so when they got there, they were crossing. There were other vehicles that they asked to come to Ghana and pick them across. So those vehicles, they will not be able to send their vehicles across. So those vehicles that they were sending, they got to a point where there were armed robbers that were already at the site robbing people. So when they saw them coming and they saw the security in their vehicles, they thought they were coming purposely for them. So they did not run away anyway. They just surrounded them. They were in the ambush. So they have nowhere to go before they realized they were shot from nowhere. There were bullets from nowhere, and they were shooting their 3 cars that they were moving, the convoys that they were moving. And that is how the whole thing occurred. And as I speak to you, 2 soldiers are seriously injured. One is confirmed dead. The fireman is injured. He was able to speak to us how the whole thing happened, but he's not able to tell how many the colleagues that were there, whether they are all safe or not. But as I speak to you, the DCE is safe. He came around. We tried speaking to the DCE. The place is crowded at the hospital here. A lot of soldiers are around. They will not allow you to even come near the DCE. So far, so that is how the whole thing happened today.
Okay. Joseph, we learned earlier that the district chief executive was part of this convoy. Was he also injured?
The DGA is safe.
Meaning he wasn't injured, he was not shot?
He wasn't injured, but he's part of the convoy.
Okay. Now, for this incident we're learning of today, do we know what the Security Council is doing in view of this attack?
Well, so far, as I said, I spoke to one of the policemen that is around. He said his commander is not in town. He even called him from, he traveled. He called him and find out what happened. He also rushed there and realized that is what is happening there. So with the security agencies, for now, they are not ready to speak to us. The area is, they've been terrorizing the area day in, day out. It's not only that area, just Bole and its environs. Day in, day out, we hear of incidences of armed robbers and all that. So I think it's high time we get more security, they deploy more security to this very area. Other than that, it's too much.
Okay. Thank you, Joseph. But just before you go, I want to understand this. For those who are injured, how are they responding to treatment?
It's Joy, that's all. Pardon me?
I'm asking that for those who are injured, how are they responding to treatment at the hospital?
Well, I understand they're transferring to other for the responding. I understand they are transferring them to other hospitals. I don't. They are seriously injured anyway. But I think for survival now, I cannot tell whether they are responding to treatment or not.
In the wake of several attacks on local farmers by Fulani herdsmen nationwide, a 56-year-old farmer has been assaulted by some Fulani herdsmen at Adaklu, Womenu, in the Adaklu district of the Volta region. The victim, Matthew Azameti, he was beaten after he confronted Fulani herdsmen about the destruction of his farm by their cattle.
According to the victim, Matthew Azameti, who almost lost his left eye through the beating, the cattle have destroyed his farm on several occasions. The farmers say they have lodged several complaints to opinion leaders and the assembly, but nothing has been done about it. He added that farming has become quite challenging due to activities of Fulani herdsmen. Mr. Azameti narrated his recent ordeal with the Fulani herdsmen to Joy News.
The herdsmen were not attending to the cattle, so they came to my farm. I immediately complained to the herdsmen. I tried to escape, but the men followed me to beat me. So I went to report to the police, but nothing has been done about it. I later went to the hospital.
Joy News checks with the police revealed the case has been transferred to the regional capital, Ho.
This is Joy News Prime. We'll be back with more. Let's do more on Joy News Prime. The Accra-Tema motorway will be commissioned for a major rehabilitation works within the first quarter of this year. This is according to the Minister for Roads and Highways, Alhaji Inusuf Hussaini, in response to queries from members of Parliament. He said there is an arranged collaboration between the ministry and the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority to upgrade it to a 6-lane highway.
Mr. Speaker, it's an ongoing collaboration. But in respect of the Accra-Tema motorway, we intend, or we are planning to cut short for the rehabilitation of the road during this first quarter of this year. Mr. Speaker, there is a comprehensive plan to redevelop the entire motorway into a 6-lane highway to be able to carry traffic that will be emanating from the ports and other.
But some members of the House were concerned the materials being used for current maintenance work on the motorway are not of good quality. The minister, however, insists the best materials are being used.
We don't use coal tar to patch the potholes. By coal tar, I think it means bitumen. We are not using bitumen. In fact, Mr. Speaker, on the motorway, we are using a specially formulated asphalt to patch the potholes. And we are doing it because of technical reasons. Mr. Speaker, the road is a rigid concrete pavement. Mr. Speaker, even in our homes, it becomes difficult for new concrete to sit on old concrete, even in our homes. To even measure the exact quantity of concrete that you require to patch a pothole so that you don't have bumps is a problem. Mr. Speaker, all over the world, the practice is to use these special formulated asphalt to seal potholes of which have developed on rigid pavements.
Alhaji Inusuf Hussaini also updated the House on other road projects going on countrywide. In other stories, the Metropolitan Chief Executive of Tema says he sees nothing wrong with pupils studying under trees when there are enough classrooms to handle lessons. Reacting to a story carried by Joy News on Thursday on the Tema Community 7 number 2 Junior High School, where pupils were learning under trees, the MCE says the school is not in a deplorable state and does not see why lessons will be conducted under trees. He believes the practice of teaching under trees was a deliberate ploy by the school administration to paint the Tema black. Let's take a look at the story again.
It's a Thursday morning. It's time for the second lesson of the day at the Tema Community 7 number 2 Junior High School. Right under this almond tree, Candidates preparing for this year's Basic Education Certificate examination are being taken through an integrated science lesson. Teaching and learning under this tree is a daily routine, at least for now. With no desks to put their books on, pupils struggle to write and at the same time concentrate on the lesson. The school, with a population of about 200 pupils, take their lessons in turn under this tree. This is because of the deplorable nature of the classrooms and the lack of space to have lessons. The one-story classroom block has not seen any rehabilitation over the past 20 years. The roof of the classrooms appear to be ripping off and the ceilings are falling apart. The structure can best be described as the one that poses death threat to occupants whenever it rains. Each classroom takes a maximum of 30 pupils. One may wonder what and how the other lessons which demand practical works are being handled. In this age, when information communication technology is key in every sphere of life, the school has no computer or science laboratory to aid in its practical works. The thoughtful IT teacher brings her personal laptop to the school to support them with practicals. Imagine an ICT teacher without a laptop. The pupils may never see a computer, though they will take a paper in the BEC.
My MCE Isaac Ashai Odampton has been speaking with Matilda Homaga.
If you want to find out why they organized the class under tree, was it a serene environment which could accommodate a class? If yes, I would want to find under what innovative instance that teacher did that to have the class under tree. Was it to give a better feel for the children, even though that
you do not have any problem with them having lessons under tree?
I have a problem because they must have their class in the classroom. But
that is the more reason why we carried the story.
But the story is, anyway, let's not debate that. What I'm saying is that they have enough. And how many classrooms did you count, Matilda? You had 6 classrooms. So that should put the matter to rest whether they have enough classrooms or not.
But that doesn't take away the fact that classes are being held under the tree.
Matilda, if someone brought the children from the classroom and put them under a tree and called you that they have a class under a tree, you go and cover it.
I didn't receive any call from the school.
But you were there. So I'm saying that if someone organized...
I want you to understand that I didn't receive any call from the school.
And then you will go and cover and say that because they've left their classroom and they are studying...
And they gave me good reasons for that. They said because of the deplorable nature of their classrooms, which I saw myself, and because of the lack of space.
Maybe I should be the journalist here and ask you, Matilda, are you saying that the classrooms you saw were not fit for classes? Now I'm the journalist, I'm asking you. Are you saying that the classrooms you saw at Committee 7 number 2 were not fit for classes? A classroom that is roofed, if you have a ceiling that is removed, that does incapacitate or makes the classroom inhabitable? No.
So you believe all this is a scheme?
I don't want to worry about it because we will not be sidetracked by this media schemes. Whoever organized the children out of their classroom just to have a media show and have the news carried that Tema Committee 7 number 2 is a school under tree, has done himself
clearly. Clearly, did you see any challenge the school is facing, and how are you going to address that?
I don't think that those people will achieve anything because Committee 7...
So let's address the situation. You went to the school this morning and you told me that, yes, you admit that the school is facing certain challenges. How are you going to address those challenges?
Matilda, let us not just try to right the wrong that has been created in creating this news. If you describe this school as deplorable, then I would say that you are not being fair to national development. Because the school we saw, if you say there are washrooms...
So you don't think there is anything wrong with the school?
I need to paint all my schools every year or every other year.
So you are saying the school at the moment, there is nothing wrong with it. I just want to understand, is that the impression you are creating? Or
that you went there yourself. Are you telling me that the classrooms there are not fit? This is a two-story structure. So if it's not sound, if it is not structurally sound, we'll pull it down. So let us not cover up what someone would want to do. The reality on the ground is that they have enough classrooms. This was a scheme which was too cheap to fly in Tema. I expect the bigger challenges to be brought to my attention.
Indicted High Court Judge Justice Paul Derry has filed a fresh suit at the Supreme Court seeking to nullify a petition by investigative journalist Anas Arimeo Anas and his Tiger IPI private investigation firm for his removal. He's also praying the court to declare that the petitions that the Tiger IPI filed with President Mahama for his removal was inconsistent with and in contravention of Article 146, Clause 3 of the 1992 Constitution. Now, Article 146, Clause 3 of the 1992 Constitution states that if the President receives a petition for the removal of Justice of a Superior Court other than the Chief Justice or for the removal of the Chairman of the Regional Tribunal, he shall refer the petition to the Chief Justice, who shall determine whether there is a prima facie case. Justice Derry is further praying the court to place a perpetual injunction against any investigative or adjudicative body from determining any issues arising out of the petitions filed by Anas. Justice Derry's latest suit follows the dismissal of an early suit by the Supreme Court, which sought to annul a petition filed by Anas and his Tiger IPI for allegedly engaging in corrupt practices as a High Court judge. Another story, the Upper West region has recorded 204 incidents, out of which 78 were domestic incidents between January and December 15. The cost of damage of properties lost to fire is estimated at 733,483. Additionally, the region has lost over 80% of its vegetative cover to fire. Upper West Regional Commander of the Ghana National Fire Service made these revelations at the launch of the Safety Week celebration in Wa.
Personnel of the Ghana National Fire Service from all 11 districts in the region took part in a route march through some principal streets in the Wa municipality. It is aimed at creating awareness and sensitizing the citizenry on the need to prevent fire outbreaks in the region, especially during the Harmattan and dry periods, which increases the risk of the spread of fire. Upper West Regional Commander of the Ghana National Fire Service, Assistant Chief Fire Officer Samuel Ofai Adadi, in a speech read on his behalf by the Upper West Public Relations Officer of the service, Assistant Divisional Officer 1, Boko Bio Martin, painted a worrying picture for the region, as over 80% of the region's vegetative cover has been burnt into ashes.
The loss of life and damage to property through fire outbreaks in the Upper West region is worrying. The statistics we have merely indicate only what has been reported. Over 85 to 90% of the total vegetative cover in the region, as I speak to you now, has been totally burnt as a consequence of what some unpatriotic citizens, through their carelessness or negligence, ignorance, and worst of all, arson. This sad state of affairs cuts across almost all fires that we record in the region. The Upper West region recorded a total of 204 incidents in the year 2015. That is from January to December, with the following breakdown. Domestic fires recorded 76, commercial fires 28, we attended 28 accidents, bushfires 25, electrical related fires 18, 15 accidents, 7 rescue, 4 industrial fires, and lastly 3 institutional fires. These resulted in a total estimated cost of damage at 733,483 Ghana cedis.
He also spoke about successes chalked in preventing fire in the region.
It is also worthy to note that timely response and intervention of the Ghana National Fire Service led to properties worth 1,126,430 Ghana cedis being salvaged from the incidents we attended in 2015, as against the 733,483 that we lost in those incidents.
We'll take a break on this note and we'll be back with the business segment. Now time to check latest on the business segment, and Kwadwo Abuajiri Emmanuel.
Yes.
I'm told I'm being careful not to say.
They're all my names.
Emmanuel Kwadwo Abuajiri.
Sure.
What's up on business tonight?
Well, in business, we are hearing that the Ghana cedi has started recording some marginal stability.
Good
against
news.
the US
So
dollar,
how
of
much
course.
cedis to $1?
Well, as we close the market this evening, it was going for 3 Ghana cedis, 85 pesos, in the commercial banks.
Okay,
exactly.
That's good news.
All right. Yeah, that's some good news. For them.
Okay, so let's see.
All right, so you're welcome to Joy Business for tonight. The Ghana cedi has started recording some marginal stability against the US dollar on the interbank market. Checks by Joy Business indicates the local currency stability against the dollar has been sustained over the past 1.5 weeks. But is this an indication that the recent challenges that hit the Ghana cedi are over? George Wiafe tells us more.
Dollar was likely to be sold to you by a commercial bank or a forex bureau at around 4 Ghana cedis, 10 pesos. However, if you should turn to these places today, a dollar is now likely to be sold between 3 Ghana cedis, 90 pesos, and 4 Ghana cedis. The local currency's rate of depreciation from the beginning of this year has also slowed. The development can be described as a big relief for importers and businesses who had complained about how the city's recent troubles was negatively impacting on their operations. But the question is, will this performance be sustained, especially when Ghana is still not earning enough dollars from its exports to support the country's demand for dollars? Well, for the Bank of Ghana, the answer to the question is an outright yes, because the current performance of the cedi has come about mainly due to some recent measures introduced, which includes mopping up excess cedis in circulation and making cedi-denominated assets more attractive to investors, which the Bank of Ghana says it can sustain the cedi's gain in the long term. If the cedi's current performance is sustained, it could lead to some stability in prices of imported goods that are sold on the open market.
Meanwhile, sustaining the cedi's stability against the US dollar appears to be the concern of some businesses Joy Business has been engaging. Here is currency analyst Derek Mensah, who tells us how this good run could be sustained.
Bank of Ghana and then the other policymakers. In the near term, what their focus will be is to be coming onto the market and then steadying the market and intervening at the right time in terms of boosting FX supply on the market. But what is more particularly interesting is that fundamentals, although very early days yet, seems to be correcting or seems to be improving, especially if you look at the current account deficits from where we stood in 2012, even at 2014, and to where we are now. We see some improvement, even though we also think that it's an election year and a lot of investors, that's portfolio inflows that will come in to support the currency, will be constrained. Government's attempt to still hold steady in terms of its fiscal discipline, it's also encouraging. So by and large, we think that investor sentiments surrounding the currency better this year compared to what we saw in 2014 and 2015. So already investor sentiment will help support the cedi. I mean, we'll see some depreciation, but not to the extent that we are seeing in 2014 or 2015.
All right, so it means between today and tomorrow or the weekend, you will need about 3 Ghana cedis, 85 pesos to get $1 from a commercial bank. Now, still moving on in business, the Ghana Immigration Service has hinted of plans to clamp down on the violation of laws on hotel services extended to expatriate guests. Hotels are required by law to provide details on foreigners patronizing their services on a weekly basis. But the Controller of Immigration, Head of Public Affairs, Francis Pamdeti, tells Joy Business Operators have for some time now flouted this law. According to him, they therefore intend embarking on an exercise to address it.
We have this legislation which mandates us to inspect, or mandate is to regulate activities.
All right, we sincerely apologize for our inability to continue that story. Let's move on to other stories. Stakeholders in the mining sector have renewed their call for government to pass the Minerals Revenue Management Act as soon as possible. This, according to them, has become crucial to enable mining communities benefit more from mineral revenues. This came up at the launch of the proposal for a Minerals Revenue Management Law proposal organized by the Africa Center for Energy Policy, ACEP, in collaboration with the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. ACEP's Deputy Executive Director, Ben Boache, spoke to Joy Business.
What we have done with our mineral revenues or mineral resources, it may be difficult, for anybody to point to anything. If you go to other countries like South Africa and you look at Johannesburg and you see what they have done with minerals and you compare it to a town like Takwa or Obuasi, it is a complete contrast, to what is happening out there. And that is why at the Africa Center for Energy Policy, we think that it is time for us to pause and think about how do we effectively manage the revenues that come through from mining, so that we can generate more effect and returns on the investment options that we put the revenues to. So we are saying that moving forward, we should have a mineral revenue management law that regulates, where the revenues go to, who takes what, so that we can all track our citizens and see how we are using our mineral revenues. So we are saying that at every given year, we should have allocation into the national budget for expenditure. And then we should have specific allocation to communities that are suffering the menace of mining, because you have people who have lost their lands, their livelihoods to mining. How do we make sure that we create alternative livelihood for those communities?
And away from that, government has initiated steps to strengthen regulation and support services in the export sector. This is part of moves to improve the quality of the country's exports after many local products were cited to be below international standards last year. Director of Manufacturing at the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Kofi Nuhu, tells Joy Business they are re-strategizing to achieve the $5 billion foreign exchange target for non-traditional exports.
The target is up to 2017. We have the capacity within. How do we empower them to do more, double their production capacity? How do we empower them to improve upon the quality, support services, reasonable price credit, not the 32%, 35% that we are seeing? So all these things, the strategies have been put in place, and we're going to see how we can implement them. You train the people on the factory floor, you teach them to improve upon their production processes, you support them with some level of incentive in terms of when people want to modernize their plants, give them access to fairly priced credit, medium-term credit, not the short-term that the banks are giving. So here, EDIF become one of the major conduits.
You're still staying with us on Joy Business, and it's now time to take a look at how how the stock market on the Ghana Stock Exchange ended tonight, Friday. And we have with us John Amwako to tell us more. John, what went on today?
Hi, Emmanuel. I think, unfortunately, the week did not really end well today because the market recorded some volumes that were quite significant, but in negative directions, basically. We looked at the volume traded today. We had almost about 833,928 volume traded at a total value of about 3,439,000. So in terms of liquidity, you would say the market really did very well. But of course, the drivers themselves did not do well. 4 equities on the roll, lost value on the market today. Yesterday, we did see some losing value. Today, we are seeing equally almost about 4 also losing value. So that became some issue around. Analysts are
the reasons for these imbalances?
Basically, because of the currency is one issue, because a lot of investors aren't really attracted to the market, and some are also withdrawing their capital from the bourse, making supply more than demand. And naturally, when that happens, price drop. Basically, it's simple. It's simple as that. So probably we look at, so that also compelled the total market capitalization to decline by some percentage. And these are some of the movers of the market. We are seeing EcoBank Transnational Incorporated losing 1 peswa to their investors' capital. Goyle lost, SIC, and then Associated General also lost 1, respectively. So that's been the market.
They look insignificant. Do they have any reflection?
They are very significant. 1 peswa. So assuming you have 1 million shares in, say, ETI, you multiply 1 peswa by 1 million. That's huge. Right. That's exactly what we are looking at. So the numbers here we look at are very significant, very relevant to any investor on the board. So these were these are the equities that traded today, and these are the movers, and all the movers are in the negative direction to it. So basically that's how it is. But there's some counter development on the commodities market as we get to that level, as we see crude gaining about 14 cents to close around $34.53 per barrel. Gold also did gain $1.87, as well as cocoa gaining $5.70 to close the market at $2,824.
That's quite impressive.
That's what I'm saying. There's something to counter what is
exactly
happening on the equities or on the equities market. This is quite good news. But cocoa has not been that sustained in terms of a price recovery. We've not seen that much from cocoa. I mean, it's gained $5 today. Tomorrow it goes down.
Within the week, it started picking up gradually because we saw
like I said, it's not sustained. We need some sustained movement of cocoa. Then we can say actually it's good, because already Ghana is losing in terms of tonnages and volumes. So if you lose value as well, then probably our revenue generation, cocoa as a source is not.
So before we go, could you tell us a little about the GACS markets? I mean, I'm very much interested about the SME funding.
The GACS is actually doing well, especially hot. I mean, I'm sure you're very much. I mean, you like HOS a lot, exactly. I'm sure. Maybe
products are good.
Can I ask a question? Do you have something in there?
Well,
in the form of investment?
I don't have any investments.
HOS doing very well. Yeah. You can go into something that your fingers will not be bent if you did decide.
Thank you very much, John. Exactly. I know you could tell us more and more, but this is where we have to wrap up on the business segment for tonight. My name is Emmanuel Apuaji. You have a good evening.
This is Joy News Prime. Now it is official that the head pastor and founding president of Believers Love World Incorporated, also known as Christ Embassy, Pastor Chris Oyakilome, is in Ghana. The Nigerian minister is holding a night crusade dubbed Night of Bliss. As expected, the Night of Bliss has brought people from all over Ghana and some West African countries with so much expectations. Some of them earlier spoke to Hannah Odame on their expectations.
But this is not the first time that the Night of Bliss is happening in Accra, Ghana. But this is actually the first time that the head pastor of Christ Embassy International, Pastor Chris, is coming to Ghana. And so the expectation is huge. And a lot of people have trooped in from far and near, expecting God to do miracles for them. Some are in wheelchairs, expecting to be lifted up from that. Some are blind. They want their eyes opened. The sun is up, yet a lot of people have come waiting until the program starts later tonight. That's why you can see the umbrellas have come in handy, so the sun does not keep shining on them. Children have not been spared. The small, the toddlers, the babies, the younger ones, they've all been brought here by their parents, all with the hope that God would touch them. I have been speaking to some people here.
I really program it, and I can't afford it. Not even the sun is going to stop me.
So, is it the first time you're going to see him?
Yeah, my first time.
Okay. And immediately he comes on the stage, what will your reaction be?
I can't wait to shout.
You don't mind getting an umbrella?
No. I'm okay.
You're okay. In the suit?
Yeah.
It's quite hot.
Yes, it's hot, but my expectation is greater than the heat.
So your greatest expectation tonight is that?
I get out of this wheelchair, jump in, carry this wheelchair on my head.
May the Lord himself grant you that expectation.
Amen.
The crowd is getting thicker and the numbers are increasing. So are the chairs being filled. All with expectations that tonight Pastor Chris will have a word as well as a miracle for them. From the Independence Square here in Accra, my name is Hannah Odame for Joy News.
That was earlier in the day. We can now cross over live to the event grounds where my colleague Kwabna Mprechum is standing by. Good evening to you, Kwabna.
Good evening, Aisha.
Paint a picture of the atmosphere now at the events grounds.
Yes, Aisha, just to get a clearer picture of what is happening, I'm actually standing at on the Independence Arch so that I get a bird's eye view of what is happening over there. And the entire Black Star Square is filled. Apart from the stands, there are seats around that is all over the place, and it is full. When I got here and I was trying to enter that, we're actually told by the police that you cannot enter, and I can see that from here. There is no way you can step your feet. It is totally full. As of now, they are having performances. The whole program started at around 4. They are having performances, and then people will come and share their testimonies, and then we have performance upon performances. I am told, and when I look at the list on the program, it is an all night. And the man of God, that is Pastor Chris Oyahilome, will be expected around 12 midnight to minister to the people. And that is what these people are waiting for. They tell me, the people I've interacted with, they tell me, until they see the pastor, until they talk to the pastor, they are not leaving. Actually, there are other venues. We have in front of the Parliament House. We also have the stadium, and there are giant screens. But many of the people are saying they want to be at the venue. They want where his presence, they feel, will be felt. And so they are so trooping to the Black Star Square here just to catch a glimpse of him, even if it is going to be on the screen. For now, they are just enjoying the performances and cheering the testimonies people are giving here to show the bit of noise over there. That was somebody sharing his testimony, and they are cheering to that. The people over here, according to them, it is when you have faith that you will be able to receive your miracle. And so their prayer is to prepare their faith. Their prayers is to make sure that when the man of God can be delivered, they are ready to receive. And so although they have not received any miracle yet, they are hopeful that by the end of this event, they will be able to carry themselves high. If they are crawling or if they are not able to walk, they will be able to walk. The sick will be healed. And they are so optimistic. The kind of faith that they are really having, it's perplexing. And I am actually hoping that they will be able to receive their miracle in the name of God.
Many thanks to you, Kwabna Mprechum, for that report. We're still live on Joy News Prime. Well, still to come in this bulletin, Kolebu to suspend 3 surgical clinics from Monday, February 8th until further notice. We'll explore the impact of the closure. We'll bring you all of these plus international news shortly. It will be time soon for you to get interactive. Send in your comments and all that you want to say on Joy News Prime. Ifwa Harrison is here.
Hello, Aisha. Good evening.
Beautiful dress.
Thank you. I love your outfit as well.
Thank you.
Let me tell you what is coming up. It's a packed show tonight on the interactive segment as we end the week with a bang. First off, you know the president has asked Ghanaians to give him a second term so he can improve the economy. And how much money you have in your pocket? Is it possible?
I don't believe any politician. Because he's been making a lot of promises, none of them to me has been fulfilled. Those that they claim has been fulfilled, you go there and you don't see anything.
And not 1, not 2, but 3 sets of twins. How would you handle such a blessing?
I won't do it again.
You won't do it again? Why won't you do it again?
Because I don't like it again. Because for me to get 3, that means I get 6. Hey, very serious in this time, this economy. I'm sorry.
We will speak to the parents of 3 sets of twins. So let me know whether you will do it or not do it again. Get your views on these stories and more coming up on the interactive segment. Aisha.
If I'll do it again. Because God gave them to you. He will certainly help you take care of them, isn't it? Or you think that philosophy is past gone?
It is, because some people, they can't take care of them, actually.
Oh, but children are a blessing.
They are a blessing. They are a blessing.
It's indeed joy for the parents, I'm sure. 3 sets of twins.
Yeah. We'll speak to them on the show.
All right, so we'll be back with your interactive segment shortly when Ifwa joins me. You'll get to send in your comments on all of these. We'll be back shortly. Now let's recap our headlines. Gunmen shot 1 soldier dead and injured 3 others at Bole in the northern region. Now Tema Municipal Chief Executive sees nothing wrong with holding classes under 3 despite the presence of a deplorable school. Also, Infrastructure Progressive People's Party Upper West executives unhappy with what they term neglect by national executives. In business, the cedi records some marginal stability against the dollar. Meanwhile, Korle Bu to suspend 3 surgical clinics from Monday, February 8th until further notice. Let's get down to the rest of our stories. Korle Bu will suspend 3 surgical clinics from Monday, February 8th until further notice. In a press release, hospital authorities said the closure if the urology, general surgery and neurosurgery clinics is to allow for the completion of rehabilitation works. Emergency cases will be treated. However, non-emergency cases will be referred to other hospitals in the metropolis. Public Relations Officer Mustafa Salifu spoke to Joy News.
So issued a statement suspending clinics from Monday, 8 February 2016 until further notice to suspend 3 surgical clinics. And these are the neurosurgery clinic, the general surgery clinics, and then the urology clinics. And the suspension is caused by the non-completion of work at the theaters and the recovery wards at the Department of Surgery. So because we don't have enough space, we are unable to see some of the cases that come through. So we want to suspend so that patients can actually go to other facilities for care until the work is completed.
What has been the drawback?
There are still some works that are outstanding that have to be completed, but that has not been done. And I'm sure maybe if you speak with the biomedical engineering unit who are supervising the work, they will be in the position to tell you the cause of the drawbacks. We as a hospital are unable to do, but we just need space to see our patients. And if that space is not there, we are unable to operate at full throttle. So that's why we want to ask that the elective cases should not come. So that's why we're suspending the clinics. When the work is completed and everything is set, we'll go ahead and then resume normal operations. This is the rehabilitation and then re-equipment of the theaters and recovery wards under a package we call the National Equipment Replacement Project under the Ministry of Health. But it's being supervised by the biomedical engineering unit of the Ministry of Health. So they supervise the work that is being done by the contractor known as Bellstar. So they have the agreement with the contractor and they supervise the work. The hospital is just a beneficiary of this package. So the biomedical engineering unit of the Ministry of Health will be in the position to give you more details as to when work will be completed, and then and that would also inform us as to when we can resume normal operations.
My colleague Latif Idris was at the Premier Teaching Hospital in Accra to assess the impact of the closure of the 3 surgical clinics.
Cases at these 3 clinics are those that are taken to the surgical theater, which according to the hospital's press release, need to be refurbished. Being Ghana's premier hospital, these 3 facilities take care of hundreds of clients on a daily basis. According to an officer at the registry of the facility, the 3 clinics on the average attend to about 900 clients. The temporary closure means these clients would have to find their way to the rich and 37 military hospitals to add up to the existing clients at the facility's emergency cases. These cases, according to Joy News sources, will only be treated when the hospital gets a prior notice from the referral facility. It remains to be seen how the rich and 37 military hospitals will handle the situation from Monday, February 8th.
flag bearer of the new patriotic party, Nana Akufo-Addo, is blaming intolerance and partisan politics for the limited knowledge about the achievements of a member of the Big Six, Dr. J.B. Dankwa. Nana Dankwa cited the pioneering role of Dr. J.B. Dankwa in researching and propounding the name Ghana, adding that it should have never been a contentious issue in the annals of this country, in crediting the member of the Big Six with that achievement. He was speaking at the launch of a book titled Things Every Child of Ghana Should Know about Dr. J.B. Dankwa.
I hate politics and noised it. I dyed my hair and stopped it. I espoused the truth and published it. I gospeled a youth and gave them faith.
The launch of the book coincided with the 51st anniversary of the passing of Dr. J.B. Dankwa on February 4, 1965 in prison custody. The 72-page book, Things Every Child of Ghana Should Know About Dr. J.B. Dankwa, authored by Barima Osei Asare, is aimed at providing facts about the life and contribution of Dr. J.B. Dankwa to the development of Ghana. The highlights of the event were addresses by former Minister of State Elizabeth Ohene, political science lecturer at Legon, Professor Kumi Ansakoi. Elizabeth Ohene paid glowing tribute to Dr. J.B. Dankwa, insisting that he left an indelible mark on the sands of time.
He was interested in politics long before they started calling it politics around here. He introduced the concept. And he got like-minded people to fight for things that people had taken for granted. Okay, so the British were here. They said we are a colony. They said we're civilizing us. And people kind of accepted it as the norm. Somebody had to say, wait a minute.
Political scientist Professor Kumi Ansakoi, who reviewed the book on J.B. Dankwa, said it was a modest contribution to academic knowledge and added it should be for adults and not only young people. Flag bearer of the new patriotic party, Nana Akufo-Addo, who launched the book, described Dr. J.B. Dankwa as a towering figure whose life should inspire the youth of today.
Unfortunately, the intolerant streak in our politics that took hold in the early years of our nationhood led to a deliberate attempt to write out the significant role played by J.B. Dankwa and others in the formation of Ghana. That J.B. Dankwa did the research and came up with the idea of calling our country Ghana should never have been a contested or surprising fact. Unfortunately, some regard the stating of this and other similar events of Dankwa's life as party political.
Nanado bought 1,000 copies of the book to be distributed to libraries across the country.
Some former ministers of state have criticized the governing National Democratic Congress for mismanaging the country, urging Ghanaians to vote them out come November 7. Former Finance Minister Yao Safo-Mafo and former Greater Accra Regional Minister Sheikh Isaac Quay flagged government for destroying Ghana's economy, citing the instability of the city and growing public debt. Mr. Safo-Mafo said there was little to show for government's unending increasing expenditure.
Go through the system and find out the road network which Kufuor built, the road network which Rawlings built, the road network which Mahama is building or has built. And then you can do the analysis properly. You can't just sit and say that I'm building the social infrastructure based on which fact. If you meet a debt of 9.2 billion cedis, we always state debt in local currency because you pay in local currency. Nobody state debts in dollars. Now you meet a debt of 9.2 billion, and we are now grabbing a debt of 99 billion. There must be a lot to show for. And what is it? Where is it? When you meet inflation of about 17 and you keep it there. When you meet a CD to a dollar ratio of 1.1 to 1, and now we are talking about 4 CDs to a dollar, are you not destroying the economy? If you are not able to keep the stability of your currency, what are you doing? How are you managing it? Yes, certain level of devaluation could be important for exports, but not fourfold. The economy is in difficulty, and we should get it with facts, not with fiction.
There's no policy that this government has succeeded. There's no policy of this government which has succeeded. So you find that in Ghana we say phobia low, phobia low, phobia low, wherever they pass, they fail. In spite of all the monies that they have accrued, they have borrowed, the taxes and all that and so forth. What exactly can one cite in Ghana of this government having succeeded in policy, in their policy? Nil. And therefore we are quite sure that because you see, because the point is that now it's stomach. And the JB Dankwa taught us one thing: penny wise, pound foolish. Penny wise, pound foolish. We know that they are going to come with plenty of money, pushing money to people and all that and so on, to vote against their will. But anybody who goes to vote against his will in this country in 2016, how do we term him? We label him penny wise, pound foolish.
President Mahama has assured that the Lavender Hill in Accra will be closed down this year to make way for the Mudo fecal treatment plant. The president was speaking at the launch of a 2 million waste bins distribution, which will be distributed to homes in a bid to curb littering and enhance quick waste collection efforts.
Lavender Hill is going to be closed down, and there will be no more dumping of liquid waste into the sea. And so if you are caught doing it on the beach, you cannot put the argument that you are helping AMA by coming to deliver your liquid waste there, because the liquid waste will be delivered at the Mudo and treated. So those are some of the things that we're working on. Another liquid waste treatment plant is being built at Ajin Kotoku, so that for the northern part of the city and the eastern part of the city, the liquid waste can be taken there and treated. Today, we're here to launch the distribution of waste management equipment. This is not the first time Zoom Lion and Jospong are partnering with government to provide waste management equipment to private companies.
We'll be back with the showbiz segment.
Entertainment news is brought to you.
Gladys Osei is here with the entertainment segment. Gladys, I hope I got your name right.
Today you got it very excellent there.
So what's up for entertainment news? It's
Friday. Yeah, it's Friday. I'm all poised for the night. Yes, the weekend must start good. I'm not wasting any chance at all.
No, you don't have to leave any stone unturned.
Sure, and especially when it's twice as nice, twice as exciting, twice as fun, and twice as crazy with twice the data. And that is just what Airtel is giving you. Airtel gives you 100% bonus on all the internet bundles from 1 Ghana and above with Airtel double data offer. All you need to do is to just dial *125# to buy any of our great internet bundles and enjoy 100% data instantly on your bundles. So dial, don't forget, *125 now, or switch to Airtel, the smartphone network. If you have Airtel, obviously there's no way out you won't enjoy your packages. There's also the too much talk packs. I mean, there are options for you when you are with Airtel. Now, Aisha, it's pretty bad news. Nkomode, the Ghanaian comedian Nkomode, for some time now had been bedridden with liver conditions. He had liver problem, he had bladder problem, and eventually he just couldn't survive that, so he gave it up at the Tema General Hospital just this morning. That's bad news for us. Yeah. But for those of you who do not remember who Nkomode, our comedian, is, let's just go through Key Soap Concert Party, the days where comedy reigned, where comedy ruled in Ghana here, and let's take some excerpts from those days.
No, Uncle will be our smart. So, Uber to me, I call no Brafuna Coca Samsua no credit, and to me, Buku flat, mammy, but the Ghana always and never quabruchi. Play no a techie level Vienna at a year corner. Ho, a fiance and almost started to soft drink, minerals. And yet, be the a full plane, Bina, Yabema whiskey, Yabi, where you're Christopher for plane. To it, no more, Menna, soft drink, Menna, a Binia Patashi. It's Yakwa, yet wow. And one apart to the catchers as a moshi. And the NCC, so as far as I'm make you. Now, guys, from here, player. I'm going to play from there, and I'm through. Young nurses see ya. A break for share. I look at the net and your pointer. You're the queen, I see you're too tiny, you know. Oh, one that you pass, I see so. I don't know about or yet more, so I'm Melima.
Those were interesting.
Exactly,
moments.
very memorable scenes from that day. But let me
thing.
just tell everybody that sources close to the family disclosed to MyJoyOnline.com that the comedian died at the Tema General Hospital around 11:15 a.m. of liver failure. He was bedridden and suffered kidney, liver, and bladder problems in the past. He left for London in 2002 when he was at the peak of his career, and that's how come Nkomode got out of our scenes for a very long time. There had been reports that he had been jailed in London for cocaine-related issues, but he refuted those claims. He said he owed some people some amount of money, but he had sorted them out. He later returned to Ghana and starred in a few movies before his unfortunate demise. He won the Key Soap Concert Party and in 1997, and well, that's the memory of Nkomode. Now let's talk about a Kikimi guy, Waisa. You know what happened today? Today he was in court, and he had to be in court, but he was very late, and so a bench warrant was issued for his arrest. And you know how he escaped? He wore his counsel's robe and disguised himself and got lost from the premises. But really? Well, that's just what happened. But of course, we can get details from this report.
An Accra Circuit Court has issued a bench warrant for the arrest of embattled Hip Life artist Waisa. The order follows the failure of the artist to appear in court, where he has been charged for gross indecent exposure. Both Waisa and his lawyer were absent from court without prior notice. The court was expected to view the video, tendered in as evidence by the prosecution, which depicts the artist displaying his genitals to a live audience at City FM's December to Remember concert, organized in December last year. Presiding Judge Abina Ijandoku issued the bench warrant today. The case has been adjourned to the 12th of February 2016.
Well, so he escaped the arrest for now, but lucky him, next time he should try that again. He should go to court late. He will see he will kick him.
He will kick himself.
Okay, so now let's talk about the controversial lady, Efia Schwarzenegger.
Efia again.
Hey. This time she's on the case of Nanoye Luther.
Oh my goodness.
All right, so among all things, what I love most is the Bible quotations she cited for the minister to actually go and read, which I'll be doing very soon.
She goes to church.
She goes to say that she has counted a number of children by the street within Kaukudi and 37 area, the hood, and there were about 43 children there who did not have anywhere to lay their heads. They were just in the streets in the night.
Right.
And so she's asking, what exactly is the minister doing to save these children? Exactly, since she's the head of the ministry. Exactly. So she's been questioning and calling on the minister. She's been saying quite some wise things in there, saying that the fact that Nigeria did not just get up to be where they are today, you know, because for these children, they are the future, and they would definitely come in the future to be the you know, the children who will rule the country eventually. So she's appealing to the minister that she should take a look at these children since they are the future, because for her, the aged have too much attention when they are the ones who are getting out of the situation
than the children
who are indeed the future.
Well,
so her ministry,
as far as I'm concerned, also do not get any attention. It's same as the children on the streets.
Yeah.
And she got some Bible quotations there.
She got some Bible quotations for Nanoye. She said, I'm trying to locate the Bible quotation. So she actually said that Nanoye should read upon that on Matthew 7:21.
Matthew 7:21.
And remind her, as long as not caring for other people's children, God is watching her. And she also goes to say that she should also again read Galatians 6 verse 7. Let me try to open Matthew. Okay, so what, I don't know what. How do you call Galatians or Matthew in the Quran?
Galatians.
Yes.
We don't have Galatians in the Quran.
No, every quotation in the Bible has its version in Quran.
We don't have Galatians.
Okay, so I am at Matthew 7:21. Let me quickly read that one. I just want to share that if you're Schwarzenegger going preachy. Okay, so Matthew 7:21 says that not everyone that said unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. How does that relate to Nanoye having to take good care of the children, though? I just wanted to read
That's why I asked you whether she goes to church. That's the first question.
But you know her issue with Kennedy Japan. She went out calling him out and very, very painful and quite unfortunate words.
Yes,
now,
that was so unfortunate.
Well, you know, Kennedy Japan has very good relationship with the Despite group of companies.
Yes.
And there's growing speculation that Efia might have been fired for her, you know, misrepresentation of the brand. You know, she's on OK FM.
Yes.
And she does a very strong brand. And she's also on UTV.
Definitely.
So the group doesn't seem to be taking lightly to her pronouncements and the calling out on
Kennedy Japan.
Exactly.
And Kennedy Japan also responded very strongly.
Very strongly, but even that one, he says he's not made time yet.
Oh, so there's
and
more
that he's
to
going
come.
to deal with her till she runs out of Ghana.
She shouldn't have gone there.
I am surprised at her. Well, but let's talk about the scandal bit about Reggie's cheating allegation.
Right.
Now, it turns out that it is just a scandal and that the lady in question here has done it to other celebrities before.
Really?
So I think her target is those who are doing well.
You're kidding me.
Exactly. So again, we have this detailed report that will give us more information.
They have to deal with this lady then.
Yeah, so
you must deal with this lady.
Now everybody has to deal with somebody.
You know there are people like her type around.
Yeah, yes.
I mean, they only want to destroy people.
Exactly. That's just
your hard-earned reputation. All they want to do is to tarnish your
That
image.
is why we all have to be careful and live lives that is not worth making up and destroying with.
Giving people reasons to tarnish your image.
It's Friday and we're going preachy already, so you can be part of the blissful night.
Sure. Yeah. I'm not going to be at the blissful night.
Okay.
You're going to be there. Wish you luck. Pray for me. I'm going to pray in my room, but it's a Friday. I'm going to have fun.
Knowing you, I know what you mean by fun. Well, so take care. Don't do what I wouldn't do, but just be good.
No, I would do what you wouldn't do. So it's brought to you by Airtel, right?
Exactly. And there's still a lot more Airtel is giving out. The double data offer and the too much talk pack. And so your conversations, as they get so exciting, it's the weekend, you know what it can also do for you? You can earn free spa treatments. You can.
I know all about that because
Entertainment news was...
Time for sports. George Addo Jr. is here. It's been long.
It's been long. It's great to be here once again.
But there's
obviously.
an interesting match coming up.
Yeah, this weekend everybody's talking about Chelsea, Manchester United. Yeah, and
where do you belong?
Oh, I was going to ask you that question anyway. That's a hard one to answer, especially when I'm going to be
I know
delivering
where
the
you
story.
belong.
But you were a Chelsea fan.
Viewers, I know where you
were a
belong.
Chelsea fan, right?
Yes,
and you hope
I
Chelsea
am.
will win.
You know.
Let's start in Ghana here. I don't have to do that because of bias. Let me get into the story itself.
Okay, so let's see.
Definitely, I will start with stories here in Ghana and talking about games that are coming up this weekend. You know, last season's Ghana Premier League MVP, Eric Opoku, says he has nothing to prove to critics after he was exclusion from the local Black Star squad ahead of the qualifiers for the ongoing tournament in Rwanda. Now, the new season should be an opportunity for the youngster to prove to his doubters what he's made of, beginning with Sunday's game against Barima Osei Asare at the Cross Sports Stadium. That's the Super Cup that will be taking place there against Ashanti Gold. But Eric Opoku says he's not bothered about detractors.
Is it another opportunity for both teams to showcase what we have, like Mediama and Ashwood? It is an opportunity for us to assess whether we are ready or not. But I think with this match, it will be a good platform for both of us to exhibit a good football for the nation to come and witness. So we, as good people, we are focused and we are determined, like we give out our best come Sunday. So I want everybody to come and watch a good football on Sunday.
Well, that's Ashanti Goals and their skipper over there. Now time to find out what the other side are doing ahead of all of this. And skipper of Barima Osei Muntari Tego is confident the Takwa Bay side will add the silverware, that's the Super Cup, to their collection already.
You know, as a player, you have to have your goals and ambitions. And for the previous seasons, I have done my best, and this is a new coming season. I just have to keep on doing my best for my club and myself, and hope for the best. You don't know what God has for you. You just have to do your best and leave the rest for Him. I hope to get a very good season, put my club on the very good map as we go in for the Africa. We've been there once, and we're just unlucky not to get to the money zone. But this time, that's been my target as a player and a captain, just to push my team to the money zone and win the league for them. This is just going to be a warm-up game for us. We're not going to put too much in this, but let's hope to see what I and my team can do coming season for the league and the Confederation Cup.
Well, that's Muntari Tego ahead of what should be a prelude to the 2016 Ghana Premier League, whose start is actually in limbo at the moment. But now let's get into the English Premier League. And Manchester City's captain, Vincent Kompany, has stepped up and is come back from injury after returning to training with the rest of the squad. Now, the club have released images of the 29-year-old back on the training field, accompanied by a positive update on his fitness on the website. The Belgium defender is certainly ready for this after all his season pretty much had been hampered by an all-too-familiar calf problems this season. Let's see what he brings on board. He's ready for action. Go through the fixtures for this weekend, and quite interesting, yes. We know the big one is Chelsea versus Manchester United, but the others, and Leicester City and Man City, should be one big game there, as you were hearing all the players talk about it. So we'll see what happens there. Leicester City currently ahead of Man City with 3 points there. Liverpool up against Sunderland, and we're expecting some drama because the Liverpool fans have promised that in the 77th minute they'll walk out of the stadium and protest. We're talking about, you know, prices flying here in the country, but the same thing is happening there in terms of tickets. One ticket costs £77 and deciding to leave the stadium the 77th minute there. Now, Tottenham Hotspur is up against Watford, probably the most exciting game of the weekend if you think about it in terms of the form. We have Stoke City up against Everton, Swansea City up against Crystal Palace. There's Newcastle top spenders up against West Brom, Aston Villa up against Norwich. There will be no Jordan Ayew because of what he did in the other game. Absolute stinker there. Now we have Southampton up against West Ham. There's Bournemouth up against Arsenal, who quickly need to improve on their season standings. Now we can talk a bit about FIFA and South African Tokyo 6 Wallace bid to become the next FIFA president has failed to win the support of the Confederation of Africa of Football. Now definitely CAF announced after a meeting in Rwanda today that it will back the Asian Football Confederation President Sheikh Salman in the 26th February elections.
Toko Seshwale will be under pressure to withdraw from the FIFA presidential election today if he's not backed by the Confederation of African Football. Seshwale has told us he has no plans to quit, but the Confederation of Africa Football Executive Committee will meet in Rwanda today with 54 of the total 209 votes. CAF member associations will have the biggest voting bloc in the FIFA presidential election. Seshwale, Sheikh Salman, Gianni Infantino and Jerome Champagne are all expected to attend the meeting today. The only candidate not expected to appear is Prince Ali of Jordan.
All right, so that's that. Salman, Sheikh Salman, is the man who's going to get Africa's 54 votes. And by now, you know very well, your guess is as good as mine, who's going to be the next FIFA president, because Africa's votes are absolutely important in terms of the numbers. Africa has the highest number there in terms of the voting, and they're going out there to vote for Sheikh Salman, likely to be your next FIFA president. And I'm George Addo Jr. bringing you sports. I shall join us with some more. Be good.